Let's go to the recording. Yes. Oh, she has got some internet failures. Don't worry. Hope that everything becomes better in the further minutes. No, so let's get back to this. And here we go, students. Okay, this is the presentation I promised. So let me have my camera ready, and there we go. As I told you before, we're going to talk about some flag similarities all over the world. Pay attention to them because after this, we're going to make a game related to the flag similarities, and let's get this started. Here is the beginning of the presentation. Well, it has been found that there are some flags that look like the same, yeah? For example, here in the picture, I am showing you the flags of Denmark, Sweden, Faroe Islands, Norway, Iceland, and Finland. If you notice, all these flags, they have got a cross, yeah? So what's the reason of why they have this cross? Let me tell you there, this cross that they have got, it's called the Saint Olaf's cross, yeah? And let me tell you, Olaf Tryggvason was the king of the Vikings back in the year 1200. Yes, so King Olaf Tryggvason had a cross like the one we are watching in each one of the flags. Yeah, this flag represented the Christian religion, and this religion was spread all over the world. First, obviously, in the European countries, like for example, all the ones from Scandinavia, and later it expanded to other countries like Germany, Netherlands, England, Scotland, yes, and some other countries that they have got Christian religion. So let me tell you, if you notice, most of the flags, except the Sweden one, it has got different colors, but the base of the flag is red and blue one, yeah? In Denmark, as you can see it, they only have the red color, but in the other ones from Norway, Iceland, Faroe Island, they have got red and blue, yes? What does it represent? For example, in Finland, as you can see it, the Finnish flag, it's a little bit different because it has got white and blue, yes? So they are representing the snow from Finland and all the water that is in the territory and surrounds the territory, yes? But besides that, the rest of the flags, they are characterized by the St. Olaf's cross and by the same colors, except the one from Sweden, which is yellow and blue. But if you notice, the Iceland's flag, they have got the same colors that Norway has got, but in a different position. Like, for example, instead of having most of red, the Iceland's flags has got blue, and the same case happens with Norway. So these flags, they look like the same because they have got the St. Olaf's cross. Yeah, let's go with some more flags. Yeah, here we got the South American flags. If you notice, all of them, they have got the same colors in the same position. The colors are yellow, blue, and red. Let me tell you what's the reason of why these flags have got the same color, right? Well, let me tell you that back in the 15th or 14th century, there was a country in South America called the Great Colombia, yes? And this country was formed by Ecuador, Colombia, obviously, and Venezuela. So later, when the Great Colombia got its independence, they separated in different countries that nowadays we know them as Ecuador, Venezuela, and Colombia. So that's the reason of why they share the same colors, yeah? And each color represents that. Listen to this. Yellow color because it represents the richness of the land of these three countries, and obviously the sun, yeah? Later, we have got a blue color because of the oceans and water that are near the territory or surrounding the territory. And finally, the red color represents love and blood for the ones who died in the independence movement. So as you can see, the South American flag, like from these countries that used to be part of the Great Colombia, they have got the same colors, The only thing that is different is that the Venezuelan flag, it has got some stars, and the Ecuador's flag has got a shield with with a condor in the center, yes, trying to fly all over the shield of the Ecuador's flag. Yeah. Why don't we go on to the following flags that have some coincidences? We have checked by now the Scandinavian flags. I mean, these countries that are located in the north of Europe. And now I would like to show you the similarities that we have found in some other countries. Yeah. For example, let me show you what other countries from different continents they have got similar flags. For example, let's go to Asia. Yeah. In Asia, it's like there is not like a very big story about that, like in comparison with the Scandinavian flags, but we can see that these three flags, yes, they have got a circle, yeah, in different positions, yeah, because the flag of South Korea, North Korea, and Japan, they share circles in the flags, right? And this circle, the only thing that really represents is the sun. And that's the reason of why they have some coincidences, yeah, especially between the South Korean flag and the Japanese one. And North Korea also has got a circle, but if you see in the center of the circle, it has got a star, which represents the North Korean army. Yeah, so there is not like a very huge story about these three Asian flags, but the only thing that they share in common is the circle, which represents the sun, right? So let's keep on checking, because let's get back to Europe. Yeah. And here I have a presentation about the Slavic flags. Yeah. Maybe if I tell you the word Slavic, you don't understand it pretty well, but the Slavic flags, they are related to Russia. Yeah. Just check it out. Yeah. If you see there, we have countries like Czech Republic, Russia, Slovakia, Slovenia, Croatia, and Serbia. They have got the same colors that are blue, white, and red. Yes. And if you see it and if you notice it, everything comes from the flag mother, which is the Russian flag. Yes. These are the colors of the Slavic national culture. Yes. Which is an identity very different to the one from this side of the world, because even the Slavic countries, they use a different alphabet than the one we use here in the Latin American countries, or in some Western European countries. That's why they call it the Slavic national culture. Yes, and these cultures were used by the Russian Empire back in the 19th century, when Russia used to be a country and the USSR didn't exist. Mainly, let me tell you that Serbia, there is a story about Serbia, which long time ago it was Yugoslavia. Yeah. Serbia decided to have the flag in the same colors like in Russia, but inverted, because in the Russian flag you can see a different order, because first it's white and in the last one is red. Serbian flag, it's kind of like that, but inverted or switched. So Serbia decided to take the colors of Russia, of the Russian Empire, because of the support that they had when Serbia had a conflict with Turkey. So in honor to Russia, they use it in their flag. And also because if you notice in these countries, they have got uh, cultural similarities, like for example, the way of writing, the way of reading, languages are kind of the same, religion, and many other stuff that are shared by these Slavic flags, which are part from the east side of Europe. Okay, so let's keep on checking what other flags they look like the same, because I would like to show you the flags of Africa. Yeah, but let's go to the southeast of Africa. Yeah, if you notice, these flags, they have got a very red, black. Yes, this color black is not very common in flags from other countries, but in Africa, yes, it is really common. And I'm going to tell you why these colors are used in the African flags. Well, first of all, the black color in the flags represents the black skin of the African people. Yes, I think that's pretty obvious why. And the yellow color represents the savanna, because if you realize in the south of Africa, it's where, when I'm talking about savanna, I'm talking about animals like lions, giraffes, antelopes, etc., elephants. These are the kind of animals that live in this ecosystem that we call it savanna. And in some flags, you're going to see some Aborigine icons. When I'm talking about Aborigine, I am talking about native people who were the first inhabitants of these African lands. Yeah. Yellow color also represents the sun and minerals, because these countries from the south of Africa, they are very rich in gold. Yes. And these are like mainly the reasons of why these colors are used. The green color in the flag represents the nature and the animals from these countries. And obviously, some countries like the Kenyan flag, here we can see the Kenyan flag, even they have like a hunting icons from the Aborigines that used to live in this land, and they still live in some villages, right? So now we're going to get back to Asia, but we will learn about the Middle East countries. Yeah. For example, I'm going to start mentioning some countries that are considered from the Middle East. You are watching them here in this side. They are Jordan, Sudan, UAE, which means United Arab Emirates. We also have got Palestina, or Palestine, sorry, Kuwait, Libya, Afghanistan, Syria, and Iraq. Yeah, we call them the Middle East, but not all the countries from the Middle East are located in Asia. For example, Sudan and Libya, they are located in Africa, in the African continent, but in the side that is very near to Asia. All right. So if you notice, there are some colors that they have in common. Yeah, the colors are black, white, and green. Yes, but they are ordered in different positions, and in some of them they include red color. Yes. um, Let me tell you that these colors, they are used in honor to the king of Saudi Arabia. Yes, the name of this king is Hijaz. Yeah, Hijaz was the king of Saudi Arabia a long time ago. And also some of the colors that are used in the flags, it's because of the god, or the prophet, not really the god, of the prophet of the Islamic religion. What these countries they have got in common is that they all believe in the Islam. Yes, and these colors, they are in honor of the prophet Mohammed. Yes, and as you can see, they are basically using the same colors but in different positions. Yes, and it is said that black color is because of the first Islamic dynasties that were living in each one of the countries. So as you can see, sometimes they don't use the green color, but in all the flags that we are watching right now, they have got the black color, and that's because of their um, dynasties that used to live first in these territories when they started to become countries. Later we got we're gonna go to the other side of the world, which is very far. We call it the Pacific Rim. Yes, I suppose that if you imagine a globe, yes, you are going to imagine that there is a very empty space in the Pacific Ocean that we call it the Pacific Rim. You can like figure it out, the Pacific Rim, because in these countries are located islands like, for example, Hawaii, Tahiti, yes, and some other islands, Fiji, for example, that are very famous in the Pacific Rim because of its beaches. Yeah, and the flags that I'm going to tell you right now are the Australian flag, the New Zealandese flag, and the island from Fiji and Tuvalu. If you see, these countries they have got in common that they still have got the British Empire flag. Yes, which if you notice, the British Empire flag, it's a fusion of the flag from all the countries that are part of the United Kingdom, which are Scotland, Northern Ireland, England, and Wales. Yes, in some way, all these countries contribute to the British Empire flag, which is called the Jack Union flag. Yeah, because if you see the English flag, it's just a cross, and the Scottish flag, it's just a cross, but in a different position. But what these flags have in common is the British Empire flag in the corner of the flag. And also they have got some stars because they are stars that represent the Commonwealth. Let me tell you, the Commonwealth, it's like an organization that is formed by countries that used to be colonized by the United Kingdom. The only country that was colonized by the United Kingdom and doesn't and is not member of the Commonwealth is the USA. But besides that, the rest of countries, they are members of the Commonwealth, like for example, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, Jamaica, etc. All these countries are part of the Commonwealth, and these stars that we are watching in their flags represent their membership to the organization of the Commonwealth. Later, let's take a look at some flags from a very near region that we have to Mexico. Yeah, the region that I'm talking about, it's the Central American region. Yes, here, if you watch it, except the Costa Rican flag, which has red color, but if you take a look at the flags from the other countries, like for example Guatemala, El Salvador, Honduras, and Nicaragua, they have got the same colors, which are blue and white. And let me tell you what's the reason of why these countries share the same colors. Yeah, it's because long time ago, back in the 19th century, when the American countries started to get their independence, long time ago, uh, there was a country named Central American Republic. Yeah, but for different reasons, they separated, and they separated in four countries that now we know them as Guatemala, El Salvador, Honduras, and Nicaragua. Yes, in the year 1839, they disappeared, and the original Central American Republic flag had blue and white color. Yes, and because of that, they still respect the same colors, but every nation has got like their own shield or their own like decoration, like for example the Honduras flag that has got some stars. And this blue color, it's because of the sea, of the Atlantic Ocean and the Pacific Ocean that surrounds these countries that I have just mentioned. Yes, and the white color is the representation of the pureness and integrity from the people who lived in these countries in the beginning of the creation of the Central American Republic. Yes, so this is by now the countries that I have shown you. I can see that some other students, they have already access to the class, and that's pretty good because that means after this we can play the game all together. And well, we are going to go back to the African continent, but this time is not in the south of the African continent. This time is going to be in the west side of Africa. Yes, we have here some countries. Let me introduce you the flags that are here, right? Here in big, we have the Ethiopia flag. Yes, and here we have Ghana's flag, we have Mali's flag, Togo's flag, Benin's flag, Senegal's flag, and Cameroon's flag. Yeah, these are, if you take a look at these flags, they share the same colors, which are green, um, yellow, and red. Yes. Why is that? Well, let me tell you that the original influence, it's from this flag, which is the Ethiopian flag. Let me tell you, Ethiopia, sorry, it's a very important country for Africa because it's the only country of the African continent that was never colonized by anyone. Yes. Besides that, the rest of the African continent, countries in the African continent, sorry, they were colonized or by France or by Italy or by England, even by Spain and some other countries that colonized Africa when they realized that it was a very rich country in gold and some other materials. But Ethiopia remained independent since it has been created. Yes. And that is like the influence for the other countries that when they saw that Ghana, yes, whose flag is this, Ghana decided to adopt these colors in honor of Ethiopia. Obviously, the position of the colors is a little bit different, but Ghana influenced the other Western African republics to have a similar flag. And now we can see here the Mali's flag, Togo, Benin, Cameroon and Senegal and some other flags that are more or less like this. Yeah. Let me tell you what does every color represent. Yeah. Well, the red color obviously represents all the dead ones from the period of the occupation of the other countries that I have already mentioned. Yes, of the colonist period. And yellow color represents the sun. Yeah, you know that these countries, they have got a very, very hot temperature. So yellow color is represented by the sun. And green because of the forest, because these countries are very rich in woods. Yeah, so that's why they represented with green color. And this is what I have already told you about Ethiopia, that was never colonized. Later, I think we have got like the end of the presentation. We have got the Caribbean flags. I don't know if you have noticed, but many people from the Caribbean, they basically look like African people, yes? And here we got some examples of countries like, for example, Guyana, what others, Suriname, Trinidad and Tobago, Jamaica, Belize, etc. Haiti, yes? They have got uh, colors in common, yes? And let me tell you what's the reason of why their flags are very exotic. Well, first of all, because some slaves from Africa, they were brought to the Caribbean Sea, yes? And they couldn't get back to their continent because most of them, they were brought as slaves, yes? And they stayed living in the islands, yeah? And they shared the red color in memory from all the immigrants and the slaves that came from Africa to live in these Caribbean countries, yes? And the rest of colors that are yellow and green, etc., it has to do with nature from the island and nature from their native home, which is the African continent. And I think that's all about this presentation. Let me stop recording because